Hey everyone, it's Mike Bond with Hard Money Mike. Today we're going to go over fix and flip loan escrows. What are they, how they work, and what don't they cover? So first of all, what are escrows? It's the money the lender set aside for repairs. It's the monies that you need to take a property that's undervalued, underloved, and fix it up. It's typically up to 100% financing that they will fund based on your budget, based on what you guys have come up with, submitted to the lender, which they have had agreed that's going to get the property from where it is to where it needs to go. They want to make sure they're giving you the money to make that property more valuable. Those escrows are very important to the lender, just like they are to you. So typically escrows not only repairs, but some of them offer some other benefits, like you could pay the insurance, you could pay utilities, anything that is agreed to before you close the loan. Just make sure whatever you're looking for escrows to cover, you present to the lender and they've agreed to it. So it's money that's already in the account. So what they don't cover is typically monthly payments. There are a few lenders out there who will escrow the payments in there. The deal has to be really good, or they're just going to cut from somewhere else, maybe require you to put more money down. They also don't have money for, surprises. We're in the fix and flip business. Surprises happen. You walk in and you find out that the joists are bad, or the electrical is old, or you just decide to change something up with the property, add a new feature, take down a wall, add the egress window. If it was not in the original budget, typically they're not going to renegotiate or come up with that. You're going to have to come up with those funds. Remember, escrow is for what you agreed on before you close the loan. It's also not for closing costs, and probably could include insurance or not. Once again, it is so important before you start and close a property that you agree to what it's going to cover and what it doesn't. Once again, typically it is for the repairs, maybe some utilities, maybe insurance, stuff like that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It all depends on your agreement with your lender. Why do lenders escrow the money instead of just giving it to you or giving you lump sum at closing? Because they are lending you based on that property being market ready again, property that someone wants to buy for the price that they determine on the appraisal. So they need to make sure that the property is fixed up and in the condition or the updates that you've agreed to. That's why it's escrowed, to make sure those things get done. So now, how do escrows work? Now, some lenders will give you a portion, maybe 10 to 20% at closing, and some won't. The majority won't. Typically, what they want to see is that you put in the money, you get demo done, let's say, you get some of the pre-orders ordered, you get some of the, work done that needs to be done to the property. Then once they verify that the work is done, let's say it's windows, they want to verify that the windows are in the property, because that's what they are giving you the escrow funds for, is to make sure that work is completed, done, not ordered on the way they're going to get to it next week. They want to make sure the windows are there and inspected. And it might be, city inspectors, it might be just private, it might be just virtual inspections, but they want to make sure it's done. And then once it's done, they're going to reimburse you. Windows are purchased, windows are put in, and you're paid. Flooring is purchased, flooring is put in, and then you're paid. You're reimbursed for that work, because once again, the whole idea of escrows is once the project's done, all the money's out, but they're not going to typically give you money up front for these projects. So the mechanics of escrows: you get the work done, you pay a contractor gives you a bill, you submit it to your lender. They have a form. It's typically an online form that you fill out, show them the work, show them the permits. Maybe the city signed off on the permits. You submit that to your lender because they want proof that it's done. The faster and easier you understand how the lender works that you're working with, the faster this is going to go. And remember, we're going to talk about this later too. Speed is king in real estate investing. The faster you get something done, the more you're going to make. If you get done in 3 months instead of 6 months, that just means more money in your pocket. You get to understand, if you're not paying monthly payments for that extra 3 months, that's just money you get to keep and get on to the next project, or just enjoy a few months. So speed is key here. So understand what they want. They're going to need a form to request the money. They're going to need proof that the work is done, either with permits or inspections. And then once all of that done, signed off, and agreed to, they're going to wire you the money. So you could see this could take 2 days. It could take a week. It just depends if you are following their guidelines, getting them the information, and how your lender works. Most lenders right now are trying to get these things done as fast as possible, because they understand, once again, speed is money, and they want to get you that money in your account so you get on to the next phase and the next deal. So who gets the money when the lender actually disperses the funds? It's either you if you've already paid for, the materials, the work, any of those things, or if it's a direct bill from your contractor, they could pay them directly too with your permission. Now, what happens with escrows if you have surprises or overrun? You've agreed to a number up front. You've come to a conclusion. Hey, this is my budget. We're going to do this work. And now a surprise came up. Or maybe it's just something you want to change. Maybe you want to put a new roof or new patio outside, or like I said, add an egress window, add a half bath, whatever it may be. It wasn't in the original budget. They're not going to cover that. You may have the opportunity to go back and renegotiate, have them look at it, have them redo the appraisal, but that's just going to take time. Typically, it's faster to make sure you have the funds available, cover those versus trying to get the money out of the lender that you never agreed to up front. So remember, surprises and overruns too. Maybe the contractor gave you a quote, but now it's 10 or 20% higher, and you're like, I got to pay him. I got to get the work done. Overruns if it was not in the original budget. And sometimes there's a 5 or 10% contingency for overruns in the original budget. But if it's over that, or you did not put that in there, you're going to have to cover that. So your lender is escrowed the money you agreed to. Anything that is a surprise, overruns, you're going to need to cover, and you're going to need available funds. It is probably one of the biggest things that I see that slows people down, that projects take 6 months instead of 3, or 12 months instead of 6, because they're out there hunting for money instead of making sure the project done. So before you start this, always make sure you have funds available. At the very minimum, 20% overage of the purchase and rehab. So if you have a property that's going to cost you $200,000, I would make sure you have available funds, another 20%, $40,000 to cover the payments, any overruns or surprises. Cover escrow pre-funds too. Pre-funds, what's that? I need to order windows because it's going to take 2 to 4 weeks. I need to order doors. I need to order special faucets. I need to pre-order those until they're there at the property and installed. The lender's probably more than likely not going to give you the funds for those. But if you don't have them on time, your contractors are going to slow down the project. So you need to make sure everything is there. It is your business. It is your responsibility to get all these things done. Once again, that 20% is going to cover your monthly payments, your pre-funds of your escrow, any overruns or surprises. Those available funds are what separates the people who are making money and making this easy from those who really struggle and try to bootstrap it, try to figure out month to month how to cover the payments and cover some of these things. No slowdowns. Speed is money. Speed is profits in real estate investing. You need to get the work done fast. You need to get it done right and back on the market before anything changes. It's not only speed because it costs you money, but markets may change too. And if you miss the selling market, or you miss when the market is still good, those things affect you too. So remember, escrows are there to make sure the property is done as you agreed to up front, but there are going to be some other things you have to cover. My number one thing after 30 years of doing this is people struggle when they don't have this properly funded. And it's the truth. If you're properly funded, if you always have the money available, everything's going to be all right. So make sure you're set up for available funds, lines of credits, HELOCs, business credit cards, partners, real private money. If you have a question about it, I do have a book on my other channel, The Cash Flow Coach. 100% financing 100% of the time, because I do believe it's the number one thing that slows people down, because we could all find lenders out there who are going to do 90% purchase, 100% a refi, but it's that 10% down. It's the 20% that I need to make the payments, to make sure I pre-fund escrow, to make sure I have money for any surprises or over budgets. It's going to happen. We're in real estate investing. Those things happen. And if you just don't accept that as part of it and have those funds available, you're just going to struggle at this. And we are here to make this easier for you. So treat this like a real business to make money. Set up your LLC, set up your available funds. Make this easier for you, more profitable. Check the link below if you want that book, and we'll catch you on the next video.